So what's going on, guys? I'm Black Ops Amazing. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about who the director could be in Black Ops Cold War Zombies. As of our latest Zombies map, Toten, we've just seen in the ending cutscene the reveal of the Requiem director. Now, this is a character that we've known about since the beginning. We've known of his existence, however, we haven't really heard anything of him. We haven't seen his face, we don't know who he is, we haven't heard him talk, we've got letters from him and pieces of intel. He is a mystery, but up to this point I would say he hasn't really been a character on people's minds. Because we've had so many other things going on with Valentina, Omega, Samantha, Kravchenko, Dr. Peck. Whilst all of this was going on, the director has just been there in the background, watching. And now in the Toten ending cutscene, well, let's just take a look. So in the end, after Valentina is destroyed and we set off the nuke within the Dark Ether, Kravchenko then frees Raptor 1, the Requiem team go and collect him, and just as they're about to escape, Kravchenko tells Team Requiem, well actually, I'm not going to let you leave, and I'm going to try and kill you. That's what we see him do in the chopper, but fortunately for us, Samantha comes to our rescue, where she uses her powers to open up a portal, allowing us to escape. But as you can see, the director of Requiem was watching all of this happen. The camera zooms in, it then pans out, where we see that the director saw Samantha use her powers on the CCTV, and he then begins typing on the screen. He is writing up a group memo, and his points are: Valentina is no longer an issue, Agent Klaus completed his mission, Project Janus may now proceed unimpeded, Maxis presents a problem that must be dealt with, her powers are growing. We still don't get to see the director's face, all we have are his arms, he's wearing a white shirt, a watch, he has a cut that says best director ever, but as to who the director of Requiem is, we don't know. However, taking a look at intel that we can find in game, the first document that might help us to identify him is this one. It is a memo for the president from William J. Casey. He is the director of the CIA. He wrote, following up on our emergency briefing regarding the recent spate of so-called outbreak zones around the world, we believe we've come up with a response that will satisfy our NATO allies' queries and ensure that they have a seat at the table. My staff at Langley, with the help of the DoD, have created the CIA Office of Requiem specifically to contain and suppress this new threat. Initial attempts to quarantine affected areas and prevent a global panic still amount to stopgap measures. Our new rapid response unit is a long-term solution to the problem. Official directives will be issued and appropriate paperwork filed, but we're moving as fast as we possibly can right now, and I want to get you up to speed on where things stand at present. 1. Purpose. Office of Requiem will deploy clandestine strike teams to cordon off outbreak zones, prevent them from spreading, and gain vital intel on the nature of the enemy. We will also provide cover stories to local media designed to keep trespassers out without attracting unwanted scrutiny. We already have a PR operation handling the media side. My focus right now is the people at the point of contact, the strike teams, command and support. I've tapped Associate Deputy Director Redacted from the Directorate of Science and Technology to serve as Director of Requiem. Hell, he's been so instrumental in pulling this together, he pretty much tapped himself up for the job. Beneath the director, 4 department heads will handle the different aspects of the operation: field operations, weapon development, energy research and biology. I have a short list of candidates, but it's too soon to mention names yet. So this tells us really how Requiem began. This was back in 1983, we are now in 1985, so 2 years ago Requiem was set up. As the letter mentioned, it was created to stop the new undead threat that was going around the globe. Obviously they would need to set up a command structure within the team, and appointed as director was someone who worked at the CIA. He was Associate Deputy Director there, specifically from the Directorate of Science and Technology. It was this guy that was made the Director of Requiem, and not even that, he pretty much volunteered himself. He wasn't asked to be the Director of Requiem, he was so instrumental in pulling the strings together, it was him who said he was having that job. That for me, in my head straight away, starts ringing alarm bells. Why was this person so interested in becoming the director? Why was it so important to him? It seems like as soon as he found out about the zombie outbreaks going around and that the CIA would set up a specific department to handle this person volunteered himself to be director. It sounds like he was very interested in this. The zombies, the Dark Ether, he just had to be the director overseeing all of this. So that's a little bit suspicious already, but in this next piece of intel things take an even bigger twist. It is a top secret document only to be seen by the president. It says Office of Requiem names department heads. Staffing decisions have been made and roles accepted by the candidates chosen to lead the 4 divisions comprising the newly established CIA Office of Requiem. They are as follows. 1. Field Operations. Special Agent Weaver is promoted to the rank of Special Operations Officer for this role. There was some internal pushback due to Weaver's previous designation as an enemy combatant during Operation Shepardis, I don't know how you say that, but that designation was rescinded. Requiem's director chose him specifically for this assignment, and the DCI agreed. Weaver's unorthodox approach to covert ops may be exactly what is needed to take on this unprecedented threat. So we now learn that whoever the director of Requiem is, he chose Weaver specifically himself to become Special Operations Officer, which means surely the director knows Weaver personally. They must have had a close relationship if he's choosing Weaver specifically to become a part of Requiem. In one way or another, whether they're friends, close work colleagues, it sounds like they're pretty close. We learned all of that close to season 1, and since then between season 1 and season 4, we didn't really hear too much else about the director. He was just there in the background with people mentioning him now and again. He is the one at the top that even Weaver has to go to. He's the one calling all of the shots, but no one really knows who he is. I think we can all agree there's definitely something going on with him. The fact that he volunteered himself for this job. He also specifically chose Weaver. He was a part of the CIA previous to this, coming from the Directorate of Science and Technology, but his identity is still a mystery, and some of the characters are starting to become suspicious of him. There was a cipher we solved in season 3 that says this: G, I'm having reservations, second thoughts, something in my gut, something doesn't feel right. I've worked with the CIA for a long time. You longer. When I requested a transfer to Requiem, I thought I knew what I was getting myself into. I knew this dog and pony show, the smoke and mirrors, but something feels different. Sorry. This is coming via an encrypted message, but I'm just not sure who I can trust these days. I keep noticing discrepancies, minor deviations from our stated mission. Sure, there's nuisances to any Black Op, we both know that all too well, but I can't shake the feeling that there is a hidden agenda at play. And what about the director? What's his goals? Come to think of it, do you even know his name? Ever remember seeing it on a dossier or overheard in a conversation? I couldn't tell you. I got close to him once, or who I think was him, I'm not sure. And you know what I heard? I heard him speaking Russian. So I ask you, what the hell is going on here? See. So I think this is a message from Carver to Weaver, where Carver is having suspicions about the director. He said he believes there's a hidden agenda at play, there's something else going on that he doesn't know about, and even him being a high-ranking member of Requiem, he doesn't even know who the director is. He doesn't know his name, he's never seen his face, at least he doesn't think he has. He's beginning to suspect what the director's goal is, because every now and again they seem to deviate from their mission. The director makes a strange decision, and at the end Carver even said he's heard him speaking Russian. And to top this off even more, there is an audio log which is a conversation between Carver and Weaver where they talk about the director.
What the actual fuck, Weaver?
What's wrong, Mac?
Major Carver. Unless we've completely abandoned the chain of command?
From your tone, I'm guessing you heard about the outbreak situation in Berlin.
Damn right I heard about it. I still have friends, some of them in high places, higher even than you. Why the hell haven't we sent a team to engage?
You answered your own question. Orders from above. Not only has the director made it explicitly clear that we're not to engage, but he's also taking a lot of our other options off the table.
I think I'm gonna need a little context on that statement.
The director is handling the situation in Berlin personally.
What? Like he's gone there himself, as in boots on the ground?
Damn it, Carver. You, of all people, should know there are ways to make things happen without actually holding a gun to someone's head.
I don't like being out of the loop, Weaver.
Neither do I. This is all coming down from on high. You, Strauss, Gray, even me, for fuck's sake. None of us are on the need-to-know list.
Jesus. I had no idea things were that bad.
They are that bad. And all of us need to hope that they don't get any worse. Strauss and Gray's research has already been seized for reasons unspecified.
Are we falling apart here, Weaver? Have we been mothballed?
I wish I knew the answer to that, Major.
So they're talking about the outbreak in Berlin. Carver finds out about what happened. Weaver already knew. Carver's asking, well, why haven't the team been engaged to sort it out? That's literally what their job is. And Weaver says it's orders from above. The director has made it clear that he doesn't want the strike team to engage. But not only that, he's also taking a lot of other options off the table. And we know that the strike team never got sent to Berlin. We are only there because we were captured by Omega. If that didn't happen, Requiem wouldn't have been there to sort things out. But Weaver goes on to say the director is handling the situation in Berlin personally. However, the two have no idea what's going on. And to make things even worse, the director seized Dr. Strauss and Dr. Gray's work, but they have no idea why. It sounds like Requiem's falling apart. But we kind of do. I won't tell you the whole story in this video, there's so much information to go through, there are so many documents within Mao the Toten, but just giving you a short summary of what's happening, why the director is handling things in Berlin himself. Well, it started when the director accidentally sent a important document, a classified one, which was meant for the Office of Requiem, to the CIA that were based in Berlin. Since Requiem is a secret group, besides from the president and the director of the CIA, no one outside of Requiem, even employees of the CIA, know of Requiem's existence. And this all began when the director of Requiem accidentally sent a message to some employees of the CIA that, like I said, were based in Berlin. We find a document in the map, which is this one. It is from Rico and it says, "We recovered a communique this evening at one of our dead drops. I don't believe it was meant for us. It was addressed to the Office of Requiem and details a Project Janus. 1. I don't know what an Office of Requiem is. I checked the mainframe, but I don't have clearance. And this Project Janus? This can't be real, right? There's some pretty insane stuff here. You're our guy at HQ, can you look into this? What should we do here? Rico." So once some of these CIA members based in Berlin found this message and they found out about Requiem and Project Janus, which we'll talk more about later on, it seems like the director of Requiem realises he messed up. Knowing that no one else can discover this stuff, he set out to correct this problem. So the first thing he did was tell Dr. Gray to build a robot. We know that robot is Klaus. She had all of the parts delivered to her. She constructed him, and whilst he wasn't fully finished, someone broke into the lab and stole him. Gray tells Weaver about this, she writes about it on the mainframe, and Weaver says back to her, burn this message and delete any of it from the mainframe. Klaus was taken by the director for use in Berlin. I don't know anything beyond that. So Klaus was built by Dr. Gray, which were orders from the director. When she constructed him, the director broke in and stole him. Klaus was then sent to Berlin, and when he arrived there, his mission was to terminate the CIA agents that knew about Project Janus and Requiem. He ends up killing Agent Jack, Agent Beardard, in the end leaving no one left alive that knows about Requiem or Project Janus. And in a report that we can find, this is from Heinrich Meyer, who is the Berlin station chief, sent to Weaver, he says this: "Sir, the situation here is rapidly deteriorating. Containment efforts are holding, mostly because the Nazi nerve gas stockpile cover story has kept the cautious away. Given that we unearthed many unexploded bombs over the years, the story has a ring of truth to it. But the situation could easily spiral out of control if not resolved in the next few hours. I assume you are aware of the orders I received from the director, instructing me to facilitate the creation of what is referred to as an inversion warhead. In fact, a special atomic demolition munition was brought to the CIA safe house on the East German side of the wall. I was in contact with the clandestine service officers that were posted here, but all communications were lost when the outbreak occurred. I don't know what became of those men, or the experimental combat unit they had with them, and I am left with the cheerful thought that on top of an undead Nazi invasion, there may be an unsecured tactical nuclear device in play, in the only city on Earth where NATO and the USSR share joint custody. In any case, the inversion warhead plan appears to have failed. Please advise on next step. We are ready to help in any way we can. Heinrich Meyer." So we also learn that the director instructed Heinrich Meyer to facilitate the creation of a inversion warhead, and obviously the missing clandestine service officers he's talking about are the ones that were killed by the director's robot because they found out about Requiem and Project Janus. And, well, what exactly is Project Janus? We have heard about it before in a cipher. It is this one where it says, "Elizabeth, there is a new directive coming and I wanted you to hear it from me first. Perhaps it will help spare you the initial shock when you were informed in person. There is a new project in development that will require a great deal of our Ethereum reserves. Unfortunately, this means that some of your research will be put on hold indefinitely. You are not the only one affected by this. I have been informed that half of all future Ethereum harvests recovered from my extraction rockets will also be diverted to this project. Now, I want to leave you with this question. Be very careful who you mention this to. What do you know about Project Janus?" Now, although we don't know ourselves, we could perhaps get a good idea because Janus is a Greek god, and he was the god of beginnings and transitions. He presided over passages, doors, gates and endings, as well as transitional periods, such as from war to peace. He is usually described as having two faces. Surely if whatever this project is named after this Greek god, it must relate to some of these things in some way. He presides over passages, doors, gates and endings. Could it have something to do with passages to the Dark Ether, the two faces being our reality and the Dark Ether? We don't know, but it's a top secret project that the director is involved in, and it seems like no one but him knows about it. So that's all very interesting information. Summarising what we know, the director used to work for the CIA in science and technology. He volunteered himself to become the director, which shows he was kind of desperate. Every now and again he acts shifty, he does things you wouldn't expect, he clearly has his own agenda, he has a secret project called Project Janus, and when he accidentally leaked this information to people in Berlin, he sent a robot in there to kill them. Not only that, he also told Heinrich Meyer to build the inversion warhead, which we end up setting off in the Dark Ether in Mao the Toten. So the big question is, who is he? There have been a lot of people saying that this could be Edward Richtofen, which I think is very possible for a few reasons. One, he's been teased to us since season 1, however his name has never been revealed. They've had multiple chances, even on that document it says his name was redacted, which must mean this is a character we know if they're hiding his name. Another thing is also, if we just look at the cutscene itself, what he's wearing, a shirt, he's not going to be wearing the same attire that we've seen Richtofen wear in the past. This is a different version of him that we used to, but the cup he has, best director ever, unless someone got him this. I kind of feel like he got this mug himself, which gives us an idea of the sense of humour he has. He must kind of love himself in a way, thinks he's funny. Again, similar to Eddie. If we look at any iteration we've seen of Richtofen previously, he's always been like that. But still, that's not concrete evidence that this is him. And so one last thing I do want to show you that I noticed, or that I remembered. All the way back when the game released, if you have the PlayStation, you can play the Onslaught game mode. This is pretty much zombies in the multiplayer maps, and you can collect intel in each of these maps that revolve around the Cold War zombie story. These are all canon, which is kind of a shame why Xbox players don't get it, because this intel is important. But as a part of the 3 pieces of intel you can collect in the map Nuketown, we get the name mentioned, Eddie. You can see it says right here, Eddie's hippie neighbours finally give up being vegetarians. Now, I won't go through all 3 of these documents because I've done it before, but when I first read these and I noticed the name Eddie, we've only ever had one character in our zombie storyline called Eddie before, and that's Richtofen. But when I first read these, I thought, well, perhaps it isn't referring to Eddie Richtofen, because what's involved in these documents are hippies who have hippie names, basically characters who have 2 names. So I thought, well, Eddie could be one of the hippie names, but now I'm thinking about it and going back, Nuketown is right next to Area 51. In this document, just reading a bit of it, it says, to whom this may concern, and if it doesn't make you concerned, something's seriously wrong with you. My name is Gina Daystar, near Costello, and I founded the Nuketown Collective 3 years ago. I was the first so-called squatter, got the plumbing working, and I personally petitioned the Department of Defense and the Governor to legally recognise that despite this being an old nuclear testing site, we are not, in fact, on federal land. I mention this because when your neighbour is Area 51, good fences make good neighbours takes on a unique significance. I've seen black helicopters and lights in the sky, I've heard an eerie, almost subsonic late night hum and felt it rattle my bones. I can only guess what terrible experiments are carried out in secret there. That's why I made Nuketown rule number 1, no trespassing on or contact with Area 51, ever. That's when the zombie outbreak happens in Nuketown on Cold War, but notice on this, Gina mentions Area 51 being her neighbour, and then if we go back to this it says, Eddie's hippie neighbours finally give up being vegetarians. The hippie neighbours would be the people at Nuketown, so if Eddie is the neighbour of them, surely he would be at Area 51. Now, if Eddie is in fact the director of Requiem, he would be based in Langley, which is where the CIA headquarters are. Area 51 is in Nevada, but there's nothing to say, for one reason or another, the director, especially since he works for the CIA, couldn't have been in Area 51. It is a, in quotation marks, an Air Force facility. Although a lot of what they do there is classified, there will be CIA members going to there and leaving all the time. The director of Requiem more than likely would have been at Area 51 now and again, and we have this document in game saying that Eddie's hippie neighbours finally give up being vegetarians. This could have been a hint that Eddie, the director, was at Area 51 while the hippie neighbours were turning into zombies. This could have been a hint that Eddie was the director all the way back in season 1. One very last thing I'll say on this subject is we do know that the director told Weaver to do experiments on Samantha. If the director is Eddie, we know Eddie and Samantha grew up together, why would he then tell Weaver to experiment on Samantha? Well, there could be a couple of reasons to this. One, we know Samantha suffers with memory loss. Both Eddie and Samantha as children went through very similar things. Samantha was infected by the Dark Ether. Eddie wasn't, since he was an innocent version, but when they travelled from Toten to our Cold War universe, just like Samantha's memory was wiped, that also means Eddie's could have, which could mean he doesn't even know that Samantha is his childhood friend. He has no idea he knew her at one time, which is why he doesn't seem to care about her. Or 2, maybe he does remember Samantha, and for one reason or another is doing the things he is. I don't know, there's an awful lot of information here. There is so much more I could go through, but I think that should give you a good idea on who the director is. It very well could be Eddie. There is evidence potentially pointing towards that, but also at the same time, it could be someone else. People have suggested Hudson, maybe another character that we know, or it could be someone totally new. Although I can't see it being someone we don't know because they're being very shifty. They're not telling us their name, we're not getting to see their face, so I suspect it's someone familiar to us. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. As always, hopefully you've enjoyed. If you have, drop a like rating. Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest videos on the channel, and as always, I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, goodbye.